Did you end it?
I didn't end the recording. Should I end the recording?
I thought that was the end.
No, are we doing a not our
now we need
an
to
even
do our
worse hour, or
worst-
was the first hour
worst
bad
hour.
enough that you can't make it
Yeah.
even worse?
I don't know how it gets worse.
What bad happened this week? Something must have happened. Something happened yesterday. We started off the week with a flat tire, so I had to change a tire first thing Monday morning. After loading the shovel onto the float, we found out that it was flat, so we unloaded the shovel again. Used this spinny bucket to get the bucket underneath the trailer and lift it up. So there's another thing that your spinny bucket can do. Change the tire in 5 minutes, and we're on the road again. That's about as bad as my week has got so far. Knock on wood. It's only Tuesday.
I felt like this week was like the week after Labor Day used to be. It's like the whole world woke up on Monday and went, holy fuck, I'm not going to get all my work done this season.
Oh,
And that used to happen
yeah.
the week after Labor Day. But the week after Labor Day, it was like still slow for us. And it was sort of like a normal week. And then last week was the same. But then the last 2 weeks, I've had 10 bins in the yard the whole week. Or more than that. Like they're almost all been in the yard the whole week. Like it was busy enough that Cody can sometimes just swap them without taking them out. She worked all week. She was busy all week, but we weren't busy like we were before. But then Monday rolled around and the whole world realized that the fucking season's almost over and freaked out. And then all of a sudden we're swamped again.
What is this mentality? Everybody thinks the season's almost done in mid-September. Like the last 3 years, we've gone till mid-December. Everybody says, "Oh, you must be winding down. You must be winding." Fuck, I'm not winding down. Like this is go time. This is when you make your money from September on.
Yeah, but you're like we do commercial, you do commercial, but Mike's strictly residential. You plan on doing someone's front walkway in December, Mike?
No.
Really? If the weather was good, would you not?
Oh yeah, if the weather was good, like I'm booked into next year. So if I could move a project up, I would if the weather was fine. Yeah.
We've went to residential sites in the morning where it snowed overnight and there was an inch of snow, but it was supposed to be +6 that day. So we went in the morning, saw the snow on the ground. We can't lay these pavers. Came back at like 2 p.m, laid the pavers, sanded it after dark, and got out of there because it was warm enough.
And then called someone because the sand failed.
Yeah.
No. What's the temperature though for sand? 8?
Oh, you can't tell me the pavers weren't wet. Like, oh, well, I guess you could have got out your heart blower and blow dried them.
Yeah.
No, we tiger torched them.
Okay.
Like
sure.
we tiger torched the whole thing. That site actually, the one I'm thinking about is absolutely fine. Another one though, we did a pool surround in it had to be end of November or something like that, and it was all Antica around the border, around the perimeter, but there was no coping because for some reason, like the pool never had a coping, and
so there's like a piece of plastic there,
a piece of metal that stuck right up, and then your stone backed up right to that.
Magic.
But yeah, magic. We sanded that and it looked like dog shit. We had to go back this spring, and because it was so hard to sand because there's no coping that differentiates the inside of the pool from the outside of the pool. So it's just a fucking nightmare. But actually a brick fell in the pool on that job site and we didn't find out till the spring. But phenomenal clients, but that was a shit show.
We were working on a pool once, and all of a sudden, one of the guys was in the pool. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I turn around and go, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "A paver fell in. I got it before it hit the bottom." Like the paver fell in, and he went in after it and got it before it hit the liner. Because it was like an existing pool we were working around. Like, I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like,
I bet there's some horror stories about guys having to replace whole liners because the brick fell in. Like, knock on wood, haven't been there yet.
A local guy here put his excavator in the pool last
Our guy in our city did that too. He couldn't. I don't know what it was. It wouldn't stop or something. Went right in the
This
pool.
guy had like a wide bucket on, and he was swinging over the pool, and it was heavy, and he had the tracks sucked in on an E20, and he
Oh,
was swinging across the tracks
and he took a
with
swim.
with the 3 foot bucket on, and it was full of dirt, and it went in the pool.
Wow. How do you get it out?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
I just
okay.
heard the story. To be honest, the guy didn't tell me about it himself. If he listens to this, he'll probably be like, "What the fuck?" It's like one of those like landscaper gossip things, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that too.
everyone was talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about the rise of the hardscape event is starting to rise back up? Like they're going to have beaver tails at the suppliers this week at our suppliers. Like the
Permaton
rise,
did that. Yeah.
well, it's the re-rise of the old events. Like they haven't done it for 3 years, and now they're sort of like the whole party train is starting up again of free T-shirts and food, and not that I ever participated in that.
Yeah. For the most part, I don't care to see other landscapers. Like if I need to talk to them, I'll call them if I have a question or something like that, or we're worried about a client that or someone bid this, and like. But for the most part, I don't want to see them. Like I don't want to small talk with the other guys from my city, at least. Some of them are great, but that's it's a gathering thing, right? Like I don't
Well,
want
I
to
think
gather with other landscapers.
So my take on it was that the suppliers, the manufacturers are anticipating a slowdown, and they want because they haven't done it. Well, first of all, there was COVID, which was a convenient excuse, but they've also sold every single paper they've produced.
Yeah.
So why would they care? Why would you give away free beaver tails if you're selling every paper you produce anyways?
Yeah.
If your plant can't make more pavers than you sell, why would you give a shit about giving away beaver tails or poutine or T-shirts or whatever it is? But I think that if you read into a deeper thing, they're like, oh fuck, hard times are coming. We're going to need to convince, because at one time these people used to work hard to convince you to buy their brand of pavers, and no rep on the planet has worked hard to convince someone to buy, because they haven't had any pavers to sell.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not because they're not good people. They just, why are you convincing people to buy product you can't supply? That's like asinine. You're just setting yourself up for total failure. Like talk about over promising and under delivering.
Do you think it could be that they're buttering people back up for having screwed the pooch for the last 2 years with availability and shitty materials coming out and all that? They're just trying to butter you back up.
If all the material problems that you've incurred in the last 2 years equal 100 points, let's say, right? And it's a hard 100.
Yeah.
How many points of goodwill do you take off for a free beaver tail?
No.
Like for me, it's like 0. I could.
Yeah, you're right.
I know what you're saying, but I'm like, I could be what they're trying to accomplish, but I'm talking about the reality of the situation. Is that like if I'm 100 points pissed off at the lack of product and the manufacturing problems and all the shit that's gone on for the last 3 fucking years, and you hand me a poutine, I'm still 100 points pissed off, except now I have a fucking poutine.
Well, would you travel there to get that poutine, knowing that they're giving it to you?
I don't.
They need to bring it to you.
Yeah.
Does that give you more points?
If someone showed up on my site and brought me a poutine, I'll give them 2 points off the 100 for that. I feel like if you show up on my site and you bring me a poutine, I might even forgive and forget. If it was like a bacon
wipe the whole 100? The whole 100?
Bitterness never helped anyone, Mike. Bitterness never got.
I think that's the title of the podcast.
Bitterness never helped
anyone. But let's just say there's more value in this extra this bonus portion than there was in the entire first hour.
Mike and his one-liners. He drops one of those, and this podcast goes from a 0 to 100.
Turned right around.
Real quick.
Bitterness never helped anyone. I feel like someone else might have said, The pain is temporary, motherfuckers. Like bitterness never helped any. Well, we used to have a guy that we worked. I'm still friends with him. There's no way he's listening to this, so I don't mind saying this on this podcast. Well, maybe he will. We are top 300. I like bragging about being in the top 300 because everyone else brags about being in the top 5 or 10 or whatever it is. And I'm like, fuck yeah, we're top 300. We're an acquired taste. We're like olives.
I love olives.
I know, but did you always love them?
I think so. I went to a vegan restaurant once, and they had this olive spread. The only time I've ever been to a vegan restaurant, and they had this olive spread. I would go back if the rep were offering this olive spread the way they're giving out beaver tails. I'd wipe the board. Anyway, back to the okay.
Oh, we used to call him little Johnny Bitter Pants because he was bitter all the time. So it'd be like, "Yo, what's up, Bitter Pants?" I just think I'm talking about like a little bitterness. Like bitterness never helped anyone. It never had. Like,
yeah,
it's like all that stuff. I think before the pandemic, like this is and right before the pandemic, I was obviously heavily involved in that too, right? And then I wasn't for a year, and then there was a pandemic. But I feel like that stuff was getting to like an epic proportion of t-shirts and hats and toques and like just and maybe because I'm, on the top 300 podcasts and a heavy duty influencer on Instagram, I have more than the average amount of hats from manufacturers and stuff because I am a spectacular person. But I felt like it was just, even when I was in the midst of it, like in the middle of it, I was like, this is getting fucking crazy. And I feel like the pandemic gave all the manufacturers of anything to do with this business a reset.
Yeah.
To reevaluate them. But they've all just, because they're all big ships and big ships turn so fucking slow, they're all just going back to what they know.
I think I know what you're saying. You're saying that they spent all their marketing dollars in the past on all that merch and stuff, giving it away for free. Now they've got all that money freed up, so they should sponsor the Not Our Finest Hour podcast since all that money is freed up.
Obviously. I don't think we've ever talked about any manufacturer poorly directly by name. But if one of them chose to sponsor it, I will talk about the other ones. So line it up.
I'm pretty sure we talked about having a whole episode devoted to talking about products that were subpar without naming names, right? So here's somebody's chance.
Products that are subpar that you get in a plastic bag and sweep.
Or yeah.
I get 10 DMs about that fucking comment. I wouldn't like it if it's here on the not like. No, I'm saying like, well, I think they should definitely use their marketing dollars, pump it towards here. But I'm saying like, to me, it was a chance to reset an industry that it was getting a little bit out of control with the amount of free shirts and like. I'm looking at it going like, it was getting to the point where I'm like, stop giving me toques and like, stop wrapping your fucking skids in plastic so that everything's covered in fucking effluent. Like, I don't need another toque. I need you to stop wrapping all your shit in fucking plastic. Like, I'm just saying, like, I felt like it was a chance for a reset, but I don't feel like any of them have actually.
In your guys' neighborhood, did they do that like spa day for landscaper thing?
Never.
No. So in Eastern Ontario, at least, a particular company decided it was a great idea to get all the landscapers together for a spa day at Nordic Spa or something like that. The last thing I ever want to do in my entire fucking life is go to a spa with 200 other landscapers and
Was there no alcohol?
I don't know if you can, maybe, but that would have made it only slightly more bearable. The last thing I ever want to do is go to a spa with.
So we're like the Nordic Spa in Whitby that we've been working on for like ever.
Yeah.
With Sitescape, for Sitescape, it's coming to a conclusion. It's almost open. And so I was doing like a walk around, and they opened that one sauna, and they like shoved me in, and they closed the door, and I was like, I couldn't fucking breathe. First, I was so hot. It was like the hottest thing I've experienced over my whole body ever, and it reeked of lilacs. And I was like, like, oh, I'm holding the door. I'm like, let me out, holy fucking shit. I get out, and I'm like, who pays for that?
You're right.
So like, of course, I guess if you weren't wearing construction boots and like a whole like a hard hat, it might be better. But like, I was infused with the lilacs. I don't want to be infused with that. I guess some people do. Maybe it was like beneficial to me. I have felt a little bit better as a person.
Were you calmed down?
No,
It didn't calm you down. So
I'm actually pretty chill now compared to how I used to be. I used to be a fucking spaz. Now I'm like 50. I just don't have any spaz left in me. Turbo blows. I'm like, cool. How can we get another one?
Yeah.
How do we get it? Where is
I'm
it? Even like, Brad took the turbo off, and then he's had to take the exhaust all off. So he looks in the DPF. He's like, hey, the DPF on this truck is fucked. I'm like, awesome. How much are those? He's like, I don't know, like 10 grand. I'm like, sick. He's like, I might be able to like switch the filters and stuff out. Like everyone's always like, oh, it must be so cool how, and I do love the trucks, so I don't say this like, but people are always like, oh, the trucks, like trucks, and I'm like, yeah, like we put $4 grand worth of tires on the back of that truck. It needed all 8 rear drive tires done because they were all garbage, or like 1 or 2 of them were okay, but if you only replace 6 tires, they just all wear down to the, anyways. And then the turbo blew and the DPF blew, so I'm in like $22,000 on that truck in 3 days.
Ouch.
Yep.
Like, I'm not fazed by it, but I'm like, all these people that dream of getting in the trucking game, I'm like, it's expensive. You got to save, because I was talking to another guy about it. He's like, I don't understand how you take that hit. And I'm like, you save your fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a boat. I don't party on the weekend. I fucking wait for my trucks to break. That's what I do. I sit around and I watch fucking whatever there's 8 seasons of, so I don't have to pick a new show, because I won't watch any show that has less than 8 seasons. I don't like the idea of having to pick something new. It will take me a week to pick a new show to watch. So I'm like, fuck this. If you don't have 8 seasons available, I don't watch it. So right now I'm watching a show called Grimm, which is not that great. It's about like weird animal people that come out of regular people and then attack, and anyways, it's fucked up. But there's 8 seasons of it, so I don't give a shit, because I don't have to decide to watch something else for like at least probably a year. I'll get off on watching this stupid weird people coming out of animals show for a year. And I wait for my trucks to break, so I don't do anything. We don't go anywhere. We don't spend any money, because the trucks will break a lot, and then you gotta fucking fix them. Like,
Yeah.
So,
No, it's very expensive to do anything trucking related, I guess, right? We spent 22 grand on ours too, just to get it up and running. But
have you used it for anything yet?
no, it's getting those rims put on.
Oh, yeah.
So I bit the bullet and paid $1,500 to get the bolts swapped out. I don't know what they're doing with it, so we'll see.
Obviously a valuable part of the natural design landscape fleet.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what they're doing with it.
We've hauled gravel with it a couple times. A lot of times, actually, like it paid for itself 2 days. Those were 2 good days of hauling. But yeah, it's more of a toy, right? Like I always wanted one, but we're not running bins steady with it or anything like that. Yeah, and I doubt we ever will be, because it's just not our business model. But who knows?
Yeah, trucks are, you gotta love them. If you don't love them, don't get them. Like, don't buy them.
Don't buy them.
No, go for a beaver tail. Enjoy it. Get the Reese's Pieces one. Little peanut butter.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Is it? I have no idea. I've never even had a fucking beaver tail.
What?
I had 2 this weekend, but before that, I hadn't had one in 15 years, probably.
Where were they?
I went to like an outlet mall with my wife and my kid before we went to a museum, and
And ate
I,
2 beaver tails back
two,
to back.
well, one,
Like
and then
ordered two. Like you're
I
like,
ordered because they were at some shop across the outlet mall. So I went and got 2 beaver tails, ate one on the way back to them, offered them some. My kid ate half of the other one. My wife had a couple bites, and I finished the other one. So
what flavors were they?
cinnamon, classic. So
Classic.
because the others were too messy to eat and walk,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
didn't want to spill it on myself before the museum and look like I completely didn't belong in a museum.
What museum were you going to? In Cornwall.
No, we were in Ottawa. It was
Oh.
science and technology. There's no,
This is how we used to run a distribution center. It's like the pioneer village of distribution centers. You know, like this is a distribution center from the 70s, and everyone's like pushing around a cart with a big, like, fucking heavy wool dress on. This is how we did distribution in 1879. The water wheel spun around and it turned the big thing, and we all waited for it to come off the line.
so
Oh.
actually, there's history to that shit. So anything that came from the Great Lakes, right, has to go through the St. Lawrence, and Cornwall is right on the St. Lawrence. It's the shipping channel to fucking ocean, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess I swear they could have a.
there is a museum of
There could be
distribution in Cornwall.
museum of distribution
Awesome.
out here, but yeah.
A museum of distribution.
Yeah. Anyway,
So-
we gotta. Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
that means like the boats would get trapped in Cornwall, right? When the river froze, and people would have to be there all winter.
I'm not sure of the exact history, but I don't know. They have icebreakers.
Not in 1879.
Probably
Maybe
not.
maybe they did. I am not a marine biologist by any stretch.
Well, I don't think a marine biologist would know about icebreakers.
Okay, I'm not a marine person. I'm not not marining.
Unless the animals were doing the breaking, I guess, of the ice.
So what, you went, like, is Ottawa close enough you could just go there?
Oh yeah, Ottawa's like 45 minutes. We work in Ottawa quite a bit, and pass. But yeah, we're 45 to an hour from Ottawa and 45 to an hour from Montreal.
So would you go do residential? No,
We have
or only
before.
commercial.
We've done some residential in Ottawa. The thing is, it's just such a nightmare getting rid of fill and stuff like that, and putting anything on the road. And
I can't imagine how woke it is there.
it's it's not ideal. I mean, I'm sure there's some phenomenal clients in Ottawa, but if we're going to Ottawa, it's for commercial jobs. So I have no desire to do a residential job in Ottawa.
Are you born and raised in Cornwall, Chad?
Whole life, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did
How old am I now?
did you spend any time in distribution?
Never. Not once. I haven't set foot in the distribution center ever for anything.
So at no time in your life did you work distribution?
Ever.
Nice.
Never. Not that it's. I mean, I don't.
I feel like
care.
you're from like the mining community in Pennsylvania. I got out. Everyone else has got black lung from the distribution center, but I'm okay because I became a hardscaper.
I got rock lung instead. No. No.
I'm out. I got out. I'm out. I'm free.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't care. Work at a distribution center as long as you're working for a living. I mean, I'm sure those people make decent money. They have benefits. They provide goods like hard tools to your Walmarts, right? Like hard tools to your Walmart.
Are hard tools only sold in Walmart?
I
saw an advertisement in Home Depot for hard tools. Though it looked like pretty ratty. It looked like it'd been there for a while and they just forgot to take it down.
Have you tried the drill, Chad?
No, it's sitting on my treadmill in the garage.
Is it a
Just-
Heart Tools treadmill?
No, but the treadmill has just about as much use as the drill. So
Because that's when you jumped on the Peloton phase, right? You got rid of the treadmill.
I never had a Peloton. Thought about it.
Yeah, that's a problem for them now.
Yeah.
Everyone who wanted one has one, and now the stock crashed to fucking zero.
Right.
Does it like? Do they still have the people who do the classes, or was that like? I don't understand how the whole concept.
Yeah, I
works.
think
Maybe
there's
like,
still.
I never-
It's just like a subscription model, I think,
Okay.
where like you pay to have access to those things.
So
I
what did
guess.
you? Oh, interesting. Like, what did you guys think of the whole like you have 100,000 followers, so now you can make people subscribe to your content for $4 a month?
So my thought on that is that Facebook has been investing a lot into this metaverse thing to the point where they're losing billions of dollars every month, I think, on it. So it makes sense that if you look on your Instagram feeds now, and if you look at through stories, like it's sponsor after sponsor after sponsor,
Yeah.
and then maybe one or two things from like your actual feed, and then sponsor, and then they roll out the subscription thing. Like I think Instagram's really pushing hard to bring in as much money as possible now,
Like,
and that means also like creators making money too, right?
yeah.
They tried offering beaver tails to people.
and a free T-shirt.
A free T-shirt.
So, like when I got the thing that said, "Hey, $3.99 for my content," I was like, sick. But like I can get a lot of spinning bucket videos to viral music anywhere. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Did you get that? Are you able to do the subscription thing?
No, I need to have 100,000 followers. I'm shadow banned. I moved up to 19.7 today. I was gonna make a post about it. Moved up to 19.7.
I'm not moving anywhere. That's
Yeah.
fine. Landscape Daddy's up. I think we're at 300 and some now.
Landscape Daddy.
342.
You
That's
got
fine.
Well, you have a spinning bucket. You could get 70,000 followers overnight.
That's a gold mine right there. Just that spinning bucket.
I'm going to use it tomorrow. What do I have to do? The thing is,
Spin it.
You don't have to do
Just
anything. You just spin it in a circle and be like,
but I don't know if my songs are working though. Like, because I asked you, I'm
So,
like, Mike, send me the song of the day or whatever.
you know
and
the video.
I can't find it. Like,
So you know the video I made of the excavator filling the back of the triaxle?
yeah.
That was a useless, stupid video of no content at all, right? So I was like, I was watching them fill the truck, and I'm like, oh, this is stupid shit people will watch if it has the right music. So I made a video of them filling the truck, which is boring and pointless. And then I just looked up newest music available, and I picked whatever the one was the newest one that had an arrow beside it right in the Instagram app and said, that's the music I want. I didn't even
You literally searched newest music available?
well, no, it says new tracks in Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
It says new tracks in the music. If you were making a video,
Okay, yeah.
it says, I'd have to, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm making a video here. I'll make this a reel. Okay, pick this. Add. Next. Then you hit the music. Turn down the camera audio, and then you hit music. And then when it comes up, it says, if you scroll down, it says new releases.
And pick one of those.
So it says Banga, Dr. Fresh Fetish. 539 reels have been made with that. And so I just hit it because obviously it's the one that's making the most reels. And so that video of the trucks getting filled has 25,000 views.
Wow.
But it's because I went to the new release audio, and then I actually picked a Imagine Dragons song because I don't mind that band, and it sounded better than Dr. Fresh Fetish Banga. It's not like I don't know what the fuck that music is, and I don't want to listen to all of it, so I don't want it using some like language that I wouldn't use as a person. So I'm like trying to pick things that I think there's not that kind of language in it, because being fat and white with a beard, I got to be careful when I'm selecting music on Instagram. Just saying. That's the truth.
Uh,
So I picked Imagine Dragons, and then I put it on it, and then it got 25,000 views, and I picked up like 2 new followers from it.
25,000 views and 2 followers.
Yeah. Well, I'm shadow banned, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not on the suggested follow page. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's happening tunes right there.
I don't know.
This whole rise of useless content that's meaningless, I think it's killing actual content creators.
Expand on that. What do you mean?
Well, I'm saying like there, like if you want, like there's, you can get the overtones of people who actually created content all starting to get pissed off.
Right.
If you're following accounts where people actually used to create, like I used to actually, I'm doing it with the Heart Blower because God knows I want Heart Tools to be as successful as possible in Canada. I'm sure they're made right here in Canada. Possibly shipped out of Cornwall.
Possibly.
Like I'm like, okay, so I spent time to make those reels about the blowers. I think they're funny. You know, they're kind of amusing.
Absolutely.
They got like 2,000 views. The video of someone dumping dirt in my truck to the right music got 25,000 views. It doesn't inspire me to create better content. It inspires me to create shittier content and find the right music. And that's, I feel like all of Instagram now is just people creating shit ass content and finding the right music. There are some people creating good content and putting the music to it too, but I'm like, a lot of this stuff is like, it's some guy running a lawnmower back and forth to the same Spinning Monkeys song. Like, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't, I don't know. I just feel like it's not, like, to me, they're taking, like, it used to be a place where, like, I don't know if you guys remember the 7-second app. I don't remember what the fuck it was called.
Vine.
The problem with Vine was they couldn't find a way to monetize it, but the creators on Vine were the best. A lot of the best creators on Instagram now are still people from Vine.
Right.
Because you had 7 seconds, and the only reason Vine failed was because Twitter bought it and they failed to monetize it, and that's all the creators left. Because if you can't make any fucking money doing something, you're going to stop doing it.
Right.
But like a lot of these like reels, like I'm like I don't like. I think that it's creating. Sorry, go ahead. I'm just. I think it's just creating like a false set of creators that people who are like, and I don't mean just in our industry, like obviously my feed's full of all kinds of shit now that I don't want to see. And it's all just the same shit.
Yeah.
Someone like opening a door over and over again to some viral Britney Spears song. It's got 3 million views, but there's nothing there. TikTok's even worse. It's just literally every video is of some woman jumping around in a fucking bra to some viral music. Like, I bet 3/4 of TikTok is that.
Yeah. I think like what TikTok did really well when it was trying to like grow was it pushed out everybody to everybody. So like everybody started to grow really fast, which makes them want to create more and more content. And then like I think Instagram's kind of caught on to that, especially with leaning more towards reels. Like if I make a post, a picture or anything, like that gets nothing. If I make a reel, that actually gets pushed out there, right? But yeah, I agree. What's that Andy Warhol quote? Like, in the future, everybody will be famous for 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where we're headed, where everybody will have a following online, where everybody will have like a certain amount of followers. But like, what does that necessarily mean in the future, right?
I like, what is it? Like, if you have 100,000 followers, but no one buys anything from you, who fucking
right?
Like, who cares? Well, I'm like, if you're trying, like, I've never honestly tried to sell stuff on Instagram, except these Heart Tools, desperately trying to sell them. But like, I've never tried to sell any. Like, I guess like Blades Direct, we did some stuff with like I mentioned that we use their blades and stuff, but in general, I'm not trying to like get people to buy stuff. But if you have like 100,000 followers because they really like the Rihanna song that you used on your reel over and over and over and over again, that doesn't seem to me like people who would buy things from you because they don't give a fuck what your account's about. All they care about is that sick Rihanna song. I guess. I don't know.
So is this it then for like Instagram? Then are we like moving away from the platform? Is there something new coming up? Like, how do you
I've always
replace it? If
tried
it's
not to
getting
be.
tired, then what's
Yeah,
next? Because there's
I've
always something
always
next.
I've always tried to like be very cognizant of like what I'm doing with my social media in terms of like how much time I'm actually willing to dedicate to this, because at the end of the day, Instagram tomorrow could shadow ban you and you don't get any reach anymore, right? Or they could just cut you off and you don't have an account anymore. The landscape daddy gets canceled or something like that. For
Always a
saying cripple on
possibility.
a podcast. But
Well, do you not think that perhaps podcasting is the new Instagram?
well, podcasting is like having a website where like it's no thing kind of like controls it. Sorry about the sound. No thing like controls it. It's your podcast, right? Like no other company has say over your podcast. They can stop distributing it, but then like you can create a website and just host it there, right? And that's like what you see with like Andrew Tate, where like YouTube shut him off and now he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he can still create a website and just put his videos there. And there's going to be other platforms that open up, like what is it, Rumble, right?
Yeah.
So there's always going to be a place where you can put things. But at the end of the day, if you're putting them on something, you don't own it. You don't have full control. I don't want to say you don't own it. You don't have full control over it. So like, especially with social media platforms, I've kind of been waning away from that as much as possible and trying to build out my own things, like the podcast, like a website, like an email list, things like that.
Because those are controlled by you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like for some people, like if Instagram shuts your account down because there's too many complaints, you literally could lose your whole income.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that people underestimate is how hard, like how much work it is to actually post stuff every day.
Yeah.
It is.
Like it's a lot. Like it's a lot of like all the guys in our industry who consistently post every day all the time. I got lots of respect for that. It's hard to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I still can't story at all every day.
Well, now they only get 200 views, so who gives a shit?
But like,
and as soon as you post a story, like if I post a story, it immediately says, "Do you want to turn this into a reel?"
Oh yeah,
like instantaneously, and I'm like, "No, I want it to be a story, you stupid fuck." If I wanted it to be a reel, I would have made it a reel. I don't want it to be a story then a reel. And like a lot of the stories I post now are people tag me in all kinds of like hose shots or destroying decks or all kinds of fucking shit, and I share it. Like if someone tags me in it, then I share it. Like I post our own stories sometimes too. I try, but our yard has shitty reception, so every time I post something, it fucking crashes. I did post it like shotgunning with the heart blower.
Have you guys heard that like TikTok in North America is very different than TikTok in China, where the curation of content in North America is very like entertainment based, very like capture your attention, but in China it's very educational based. So like people's feeds in China are like teaching them something, and they're very specific about doing that. Whereas in North America, it's just like entertain whatever, like dancing videos and things like that.
Yeah, it's the Chinese government dumbing down North Americans.
Right.
Conspiracy, but whatever. Like in China, we're only going to educate our people on TikTok, and in North America, watch these people dance with a bra on to some viral music. Over and over and over. I find the whole thing to be like, whatever. I think it's going to slowly, I feel like it'll slowly revert back because you can, like, people will stop watching the same videos over. Like, to me, like, I don't know, people would get bored of, like, will get bored of it. Like, I used to like going on to see what people were creating, and now I don't spend the shit because 90% of it's the same shit. Like,
I don't surf the way I used to, and like look for the cool jobs and who's doing what, because there's just so much shit in between, and every third picture or video that comes up is like some thirst trap for some girls, like OnlyFans or something like that. Like I just can't anymore. Like it's not the way I used to go and see. Right.
Maybe Rumble is the place for us.
What's that one again? What does that do?
I don't know what it does. I don't know. I think it's like YouTube.
Yeah, it is.
Is that like the really right wing YouTube thing?
Not necessarily. It's just
No,
like they don't limit like your content. They don't like they claim to not be willing to cancel anybody, I guess, or something like that. It's where like somebody like Andrew Tate can go, I guess.
Well, I think there's probably a lot worse people than him.
Right.
Like, I think that he's would probably be pretty. To me, like if you have an open platform where anyone can post anything, the stuff that Andrew Tate's posting is pretty chill. Where people, if anyone can post anything on their platform, and this guy wants to talk about like how men need to be real men, I feel like he's on the chill portion of that fucking app. Like, I don't think he's on the offensive portion of it at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was the other guy who said you could be a real man. What's his name? Peterson there. Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
I like him. He's good.
Yeah.
But
he got canceled on Twitter.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's a smart man. I don't know his whole philosophy there, but
careful, we're gonna get fucking canceled now. Talking about Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. We're fucking done. We better end this shit now.
Yeah, we're way off of
we're way off base. He's bringing up Jordan Peterson. I don't want to get my fucking bank account seized, buddy. We live in the world of seized bank accounts because you set up a fucking tent. Like, all right, I'm calling it a night.
Yeah,
all right,
great
guys.
idea.
Okay, guys, have a good one. This is the end of the second half of the third half of the end. Bye. Bye.